So this is probably the cleanest you will ever see the garage in its current state. I know it looks like there's a ton all over the floor, that's a little bit of paint from the black ceiling and everything like that, but this garage is gonna take an absolute transformation tomorrow morning when we get part one of the floor coating started. Let's flip the camera around. I'll give you a tour of the cleanest this garage has been in a long, long time. All right, guys, so this is the cleanest the garage has been in a long, long time. We have gotten all the sill sealer off all the way around. We have gotten everything off the floor, and we have got this garage ready to start the floor coating prep. So they are gonna come in and they are going to do surface prep all the way around the garage and the wall as well, because we're gonna extend the coating up this foot of block all the way around. The other thing we're gonna have to do, we'll talk to them about how they want the lift, whether they want it, how high up they want it in the up position, whether they want it all the way up or just a little bit off the ground so they can get underneath all the arms here. Tomorrow morning, I will drive the scissor lift all the way around and we will park it underneath the covered patio over here, so not a big deal. But then they will come in, they will do the surface prep, they will vacuum, and they will lay the first coat down. Then they will come back on Saturday and do the top coat, which is a UV protectant top coat. Be sure you do that because you will get yellowing close to your garage doors where your doors are open or where the UV is coming through. Make sure you get a UV tolerant coating. We'll go through another video and talk about why I chose this coating at the end. So be sure to stick around for that, why I chose this type of coating. So we'll talk about that, but enjoy this transformation and we will get to the time lapse right now. All right, guys, so the crew's setting up right now. They're getting their vacuum set and all the hoses ready to go. One guy's gonna get on the hand grinder and kind of go around the edges while the other guy's gonna get on the big propane-powered grinder and really attack the floor. Surface prep is so important to get any imperfections out of the concrete. My concrete's in really good shape since it's so new. It just has the paint from up top, and I wanna show you what the grinder actually sounds like and speed they're going at here. So the grinding process goes pretty quick, and then they're gonna start vacuuming up and also prepping all of the expansion joints as well as the garage door areas to help get ready for some crack filler. And so they're gonna fill any imperfections in the concrete. Mine's in really good shape since it's so new, but now that they've blown all the dust out, they're gonna start mixing up some crack filler and getting that, all of those joints sealed up and filled up. You can choose to do this and it might crack in the future if you have concrete that moves. Mine's very, very stable and it's also heated in the winter, so it'll stay at that stable temperature. They're gonna sand those cracks right now and then vacuum that up. So right now, they're just getting everything vacuumed, blown out, ready to go, and prepped to get this primer coat laid down. So now they're getting prepped and ready for the primer coat. They're gonna start on the brick all the way around. They're gonna put that primer coat on and then move to an additional epoxy coat to go all the way around there. Once that's completed, they're gonna spread the primer coat across the entire garage floor. This isn't like super critical that it's even all the way across, but then they're gonna leave, come back once that's dry, and now they're actually starting the actual epoxy coat that's going onto the floor. This is a very similar epoxy coat to what you would do if you were to do a flake floor. It's slightly different, but overall it's the same process where you would put this down and then put the flake into it. So once this is done, man, this looks good, and now they have to wait until the next day until this dries before they can start the next step. All right, guys, so day one is complete. They did an awesome job with the preparation. Then they put the primer coat down, and now this is the actual epoxy, and you can see the anti-slip in it. So it's pretty reflective. They're gonna let this sit for the night and then come back. So they will be back tomorrow morning and we will get an additional top coat on top of this. So the high wear urethane top coat. All the exterior got coated as well, so it is looking great. I really like the look of it and how everything turned out. We will get back to another video tomorrow to show you what the finished product looks like, but this is an awesome start and I can't wait to see the finished product.
So day 2 is started and they are starting to prep this surface for the final coat. So what they're doing right now is they are actually sanding any imperfections out of this surface, any dust or bugs or anything that really happened overnight. They're also going around with a hand grinder to get any little imperfections out as well. Any thick spots in the epoxy, anything like that. Then what they're going to do is vacuum the entire thing. Then after they vacuum, they're actually going to go back and use like a towel and kind of go around with the towel and a push squeegee to get any additional dust off of the floor. They've got the mats laid outside and now they are prepping and getting ready to actually do the final coat. They'll put their shoes on and they're going to go around the outside of the garage first along the block with that final coat. And once they get that done, now they are actually starting the very final coat. It's much darker than I expected it would be, but I absolutely love it. And it blends in really, really well with the lift and gives good contrast to the walls as well as the black ceiling. It turned out awesome.
So here is the final product. I am so excited. It looks so nice and it is exactly the look I was going for and the feel that I wanted for this garage. I told them, give me the type of floor coating that you would walk into an automotive service center at a dealership and this is what they would have. High wear urethane. This is what we went with versus your standard epoxy flake floor. You can see some of the imperfections in the concrete and that's okay with me. It still has some of that reflectivity to keep this area as bright as possible. And I'm not too worried about, seeing some of the things in the floor. So let me turn the camera around and we'll take you on a tour of this newly coated garage. All right, guys, so this is a 3-layer process and it's a 2-day process. You probably have seen these advertisements about 1-day epoxy floor, that sort of stuff, polyaspartic, epoxy, what's the difference? Well, we're gonna get into that in this episode, but we're really gonna talk about this floor first, which is a 3-step floor. So the reason we went with that high wear urethane is because you still get that 2-coat epoxy primer and middle layer, but then you also get that urethane top coat, which is very impact resistant. It's also very traffic resistant. So if you're going to be turning tires on here, if you have big, wide, sticky tires from a race car or an off-road car, it is not going to peel this up. It has a great chance of being just fine. He said, are you sure you want this? We just installed this in a factory where they're going to be moving in and out 75 times a day, 75 vehicles. And I said, that's exactly why I want it, because it's going to give me the best chance of lasting the longest and not having to redo this ever. Now, there's certainly a possibility. There's only so long that the warranties go. We've got salt and everything in Wisconsin, and I wanted to protect the floor. So this versus a flake floor. The flake floor is going to have a very similar process: grind, vacuum, prep, put that primer down, and then you're gonna put that epoxy layer down and spread the flake in there. And so then what they're gonna do is they're gonna come back and grind the flake, basically sand it down, and then they're gonna put the top coat on. So all that can actually be done in one day. You still have that kind of 3-hour dry time between when you put the primer down and the middle layer down. It's a slightly different middle layer. And then your top coat, you can go with a number of different things. You can go with a polyurea, you can go with a polyaspartic. There's so many different things, but the big thing you want to make sure, as you can see the sun shining in on the floor, is make sure it is UV resistant. So many people get that yellowing. We are not going to have that much yellowing. Everything has some sort of, every epoxy has some sort of UV degradation as it goes through. But there are certain top coats like this urethane, which is very UV resistant. There's the polyaspartic and others. There's additives that they put in there for whether it's going to be indoor or outdoor. So The other option we could have done, which would have been much cheaper, is really that grind and seal. So we could have gone through and it's really just a single coat. It's the same amount of prep. They come in with the grinders and the shot blasters and they grind the concrete, the same preparation step, but then they come back and they do just a single sealer coat. Some grind and seals are 2 coats, but most of them are single coats. You would really only want this if you want that nice, you want to see the look of the concrete. You like that concrete look. You can put some dyes in them as well to make it pop a little bit. But that's really the big reason why you would do that. And if you're gonna be dragging stuff across the floor, if you are gonna be like dragging a pallet with a nail sticking down in the concrete, you don't wanna do a coating like this because you will rip that up over time from doing that. This is high wear urethane, so it is resistant to that, but you wanna make sure you're not dragging a sharp cabinet across the floor or stuff like that. You wanna make sure you're picking it up so you're not damaging your concrete coating. Grind and seal would be much better for that because the repair is much easier. You're just grinding again and fixing that spot that had the scratch across the garage floor. So thank you so much for watching Detached Garage. If you have any questions on why we went with the products we did and what the process is to do the floor coating, please put those down in the comments below. Also, let me know if you think I screwed up and call me an idiot. That's always nice in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching Detached Garage, and I hope to catch you on the many, many episodes we have coming up to finish this garage.